Welcome back everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 1986 Audi number 2 Audi Sport Quattro S1. So this now has 801 horsepower, 575 pounds-feet of torque from a 2.5 litre turbocharged inline 5 engine. The car itself now weighs 2,434 pounds, has off-road tyres and all-wheel drive to go along with its standard off-road suspension, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 3.153 seconds, 0 to 105.742 seconds, and go to a top speed of 201 miles an hour. So this was in stock form a rally car, and it still is now, even with all of these upgrades. So yeah, we have had 4 Audis on this series before, but they have all been road cars, all been heavier than this. So it's going to be interesting to see what a much lighter bespoke rally car can do on this game. Now, we have had rally cars on this game before, whether or not they're the more road going versions or their rally counterparts. So we've got the Lancia 037 Stradale in 10th, then we've got the same year as this car, the MG Metro 6R4 in 28th, and then we've got the Lancia Stratos HF Stradale in 33rd, and finally in the top 40 we've got the Ford number 4 Focus RS in 40th place. So they're the kind of cars that we're going to be looking at to try and beat, quite frankly. And yes, this does not have the most amount of power, granted, I will fully admit that, but I feel like this has still got comfortably more power than what it had originally. It's more than 300 extra horsepower, and yeah, at the end of the day, you know, more than 800 horsepower in a car that is now nearly 40 years old is still quite a lot, rally car or otherwise. The only additions I've made to the bodywork have been the lights at the front and a much bigger rear wing at the rear. So yeah, and stat wise it's all as good as you're going to get pretty much on a car in this series, so all in all this should do pretty well. But again, as I said when we did the Koenigsegg Agera, a car that is meant to do well on this series isn't, you know, 100% likely to do well on this series, because yeah, there's plenty of, you know, cars in the sorry, my battery has literally just run out as we started, because there are plenty of cars in the top 10, for instance, that are not suitable for going off-road. In fact, I think the only one that is suitable for going off-road is the 037 Stradale that I've already talked about. So yeah, I wouldn't say you know, being purpose-built for going off-road is necessarily a benefit, but here's hoping that this car can be the exception to that rule. So that, yeah, that rear wing is much bigger than what the standard rear wing was. Went for it purely for 2 reasons. One, it looks cool, and secondly, it does provide an additional amount of handling due to the downforce that it generates. Good amount of turning there. Now obviously the car was came with all-wheel drive to start with, so that's not an addition to have to deal with. Now the suspension is still stock, you can't upgrade that into any more modern off-road suspension, but you know, it was able to do the thing, do the job at the end of the day back in 1986, so there's no reason to assume we can't do it now, even with this extra power. And yeah, it is quite soft, which is especially noticeable on road, on the tarmac, but quite frankly, I'd prefer softer suspension than rock hard suspension to crash it around in. And because it has the all-wheel drive as standard, you know, we're not dealing with any extra weight up front, we're not dealing with any you know, handling characteristics it was ever meant for. It's all good in that front. Even though 800 horsepower isn't, you know, like I said, the most amount of power we can get out of this car, we could easily swap an engine into this that produces nearer to 1300 horsepower. I do feel like that might well be a little bit too much for this car. Perfect slide around that corner. this is not struggling really at all, to be honest. Really nice handling, it's really well balanced. It loves to slide around corners. It's manageable slide, you know, it's not out of control or anything like that. We're not getting up to the most ridiculous amounts of speed, but we are fairly consistent. Consistency can be a winner. Especially when you're holding 110 mile an hour for a corner. So yeah, that is properly quick. That's one of the fastest cars that we've had so far on this series. 3 minutes 11.508, and that actually gets it into the top 10, which means unfortunately we have to say goodbye to the Lancia 037 Stradale, which, like I said, was the only car in that top 10 that was suitable for going off-road. But at least it's been replaced by another vehicle that is suitable for going off-road, while being in a much higher position, as this is now in 7th place. So it's ahead of the Rimac Nevera, Fast and Furious Dodge Charger, Hot Wheels 2 Jets, and like I said, it knocks the Lancia 037 Stradale out of the top 10, as this is yeah, about 0.6 of a second quicker than that car. We're only marginally behind a Lotus 340R, which again, surprising that a track car is quicker than, you know, a purpose-built rally car, as well as the Pagani Huayra and the Huayra R, with the Mercedes-AMG GT Black Series being in 3rd, Spania GTA Spano being in 2nd, and the Aston Martin Valkyrie AMR Pro, of all things, being in 1st place. So yeah, but still, really quick car. This one was really rather nicely balanced throughout the corners. Wasn't getting up to ridiculous rates of speed like some cars were, so that's probably why it, at the end of the day, as quick and as easy as it was to drive, it just didn't have that extra punch to get it, you know, up to 180 mile an hour, something like that, which some cars have been able to do on certain parts of this circuit, so or this course even. So yeah, that's the only real downside to this car, is just it wasn't able to get up to a high rate of speed, but it was able to maintain a good rate of speed regardless, because of how easy it was to drive and how compliant it was with the off-road elements as well. So yeah, overall a really fantastic car. You can currently get this for 20 points in the festival playlist. No, it's not, you know, a car that's new to the game or anything like that, but I figured since it's, you know, available to get for only 20 points, it's well worth showing off what this car can do in an upgraded form, and yeah, it's pretty damn great. So yeah, first car to enter the top 10 for quite some time. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.